Hello. If you're here, it's probably because you're in McCarthy's class, and the book has some endpoints that don't exist anymore. They're MongoDB endpoints, and they just don't exist. So I had for I think last or semester before last, I had made a, uh, a repository called coffee orders go, and if you were to go to explore on GitHub, and then you just type, coffee orders go, then you should find this, or you can go to oddstanley. Or I'll leave this in the description, in the video description. I mean, I guess if you're at this README, you should know where this is. So anyway, um, once you get to the once you're here, I guess, just go ahead and you can go to code, download zip, and then you will also need to go to the releases, whatever the latest release is here, and there's a bin file, this bin.zip file. Make sure you download that. Um, Once you have the bin.zip file, right, go ahead and extract it. I went ahead and put it on my desktop here into this bin folder. Once you have the extracted file, you can navigate to the file. Let me zoom in so you can see these files. So here you go. You've got, let me delete this because technically that won't be there. So you have these 4 files. They're basically 4 binaries for all the different operating systems, right? So once you're here, if you're on Windows, you can just type coffee. It's not going to autocomplete. Hold on. I use fish on. There we go. If I do that, it'll help me autocomplete. There we go. Okay, so if you're on Windows, you don't want 3D6. You want this one. Okay, so you'll basically run navigate to the bin folder, like change directory into downloads or wherever it is, and then you can just run this. You can probably just double click it on Windows actually. Now that I think about it, that works too. If you're on a Mac, you'll probably have to do this in a command line, and then you do /coffee orders AMD -Mac OS, right? And this command right here, that should run on a Mac. Um, if you ever try to run a binary that's built for a different architecture, you'll get this error. So that's just a fun little thing. It says it's marked as an executable, but can't be run by the operating system. However, I'm on Linux, so this is the one that should work. And you should get something like this. Okay, so once it's running, you can basically leave the window open, right? And then what you'll also want to do is navigate to the coffee orders folder, and there's this rest file here. So let me open this folder up so you can actually see this more clearly. Right, so there's this file right here, this rest file, and there's these HTTP files, right? And then there's this .env file. So if I were to open this in VS Code, this rest folder here, and you can basically just take the rest folder and just drag it into your project folder. This is all you really need out of the actual project, because the project is made to just stick out a binary. So if you grab these rest files, right? Change the base URL to this. I think by default it's my website here. So it's like co.oddstanley.com/copy. Actually, it won't say /coffee orders. It'll just say this by default. So it should say this. by default, right? So this just depends on what you want to do, right? So if you want to make HTTP calls to my server, which may or may not be running, right? So that's kind of the whole point of this project is that if this is down, right, or not running or whatever, um, then you can put this in HTTP localhost. You got the binary. Essentially, you're running the server right over here, right? Keep that open, and then it tells you right here what the base URL is, which is basically this. And then if I navigate to this link, you'll see that there's an empty array that's given back to me, right? If I go back over to VS Code and I've gone to I might as well just say this, go to the REST extension, make sure you have this REST client installed, not disabled. And this, you might want to, read through this to kind of see what it's about. It kind of explains how these REST files work, or these .http files work. It explains that a .env file is basically an environment. You can set environment variables for all these folder or all these these files that are also um, that you have access to. So first thing you'll probably want to do is start doing some post requests. So you can literally just like click here. It'll send a bunch of post requests. You'll see a pop-up in the terminal, and you'll see responses come up each time. So if I do another post request, this is the response coming back from the server. And if I refresh this page, you'll see that we have a bunch of pumpkin spice lattes that I've ordered for my coffee shop. So that's how to do posts, and you can do GET requests for, based on, well, this is basically what the book talks about, right? So this is just kind of a way for you to kind of hand do it. A GET request is basically the same thing as just kind of like hitting enter in the browser. So technically I could just kind of like copy this portion of code and kind of like tack it onto the end here, and you would get, just the orders that were done from Odd Stanley, etc. All right, so that's about it. Delete functions, how to delete specific orders, etc., etc., etc. All right, that's it. That's how to get started, at least with if you need to run, if you need to use this on your own machine or would like to use it on your own machine. That's just another option if the server happens to be down.